People know me as Ollie though.
If I was an alien and we were in an elevator and I had 2 minutes, you had 2 minutes to impress me or kill you, what would you say?
You're an alien, yeah?
An alien and you got 2 minutes.
2 minutes to impress you.
Yeah.
I will just try and talk about identity. You know what? Aliens' identity is important. They're probably thinking shit. When you hear someone talk about their identity, man, you can't not like them. Do you know what I mean? It's who they are.
Okay.
So that would be mine. I don't know how I'd make it sexy though. But
I'm envisioning us inside that Rush Hour film. You know that? Oh, is it Fifth Element?
Oh,
Yeah. That's what I was envisioning.
Oh, the lift.
Yeah.
There with the guys with the shrunken heads.
And she's like.
Yeah, I'd be just like, I'm not dancing. I'm not telling jokes.
I'm screaming.
I'm gonna try and hit the heart.
The heart.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your tactic against racists?
Tactic against racists? You know what?
Because they're basically aliens.
I won't try the identity with them. I would probably, what I do, I don't know, man. I'm a hothead. Like I'm a hothead. So in the moment, I'm switching. There's no question about it. I'm switching because I get so angry that still takes place. So I'm switching first. But if I was a smart person, I would probably try and level on them. If I had patience, but I ain't got any of this. No one has any of this. But I would level with them and understand where their racism comes from, where it stems from. Do you know what I mean? But we're not here to help these people. We're not here to help racists. And no, they get blocked in the face. Yeah, they're getting knocked out.
You were born and raised in UK?
Yeah. I was born in Bristol. My parents came over from Nigeria in 1982. I was born in Bristol. Then I moved to Coventry, which is a mad place, got great history, and I tried to do a lot there culturally. I had a lot of fun, met some great people, but then moved here when I was like late teens, to London. And now I'm an old man. Now I'm an old man living in London.
You think you're old?
I feel old, but I feel good about it though,
Okay.
I'm 36, but I'm telling people I'm close to 40. That's what I'm saying now, and I'm cool with that. Like I've done what I was set out to do, and now I'm gonna enjoy life, and I'm gonna now work for myself, but really work for myself, not just have your own business. Work for myself to, deliver projects that are close, real. And that's why I'm here.
So you're in a space now where you'd say you're satisfied?
Hell no. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied. My personality is always more. Like I could deliver all sorts of jobs and still be like empty at the end of it. Like, had a very successful business, still do. All of these things as a kid, you think that's what success is, that's what it's about, and it's not. It's about so much more, and that's the stage I'm at in my life now, as I'm really thinking about, okay, what's beyond the material wealth, which is great and we all want it, especially if you never came from it, but there's so much more that we can do, and 2020's shown us that.
What are you trying to prove?
Proving is not the issue. Maybe I'm proving to myself. Like I'm my own critic. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't seek approval from anyone. But what I'm trying to prove is the work. Finish the work that my ancestors did, and that's deep. It might sound deep, but in reality, that's what we're here for: is to carry on the baton. So, in regards to will I ever be satisfied? Never, because that baton's got a long way to travel still, man. So yeah, never satisfied.
Tell us about the bird.
Yeah, the birds.
Tell us about the bird.
Okay, cool. So I've always used bird watching as escapism, especially in this job I've had for the last decade, working in the industry. It's quite intense. So escapism through bird watching, that moment you're looking in the sky to see if what bird it is, or focusing through the bushes and see what is it. Your mind goes clear, like absolutely clear. It's the only time I get that, from anything legal anyway, that's the only time you get that pure, clear clarity in your head. So I've been doing that for a long time, and then this summer I set up a bird watching club, absolute serendipitous meeting with an incredible person who is an expert bird watcher, also, of colour, and we decided to set up this bird watching crew to help support our community. So like, if you think about, using nature as a mental health aid, you know, and then myself and Nadeem have used it for that. You know, we've all struggled with mental health, especially this summer. So if our community could understand the benefits of nature like I have and my partner has, then that's a good thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, our relationship as people of colour to the outdoors is completely been whitewashed. You know, we don't feel comfortable in these spaces. So that's what the Bird Group is about, is to ensure that we're seen, we're visible, and we are changing the narrative of the outdoors. And that goes a long way, because the narrative of the outdoors means the conservation of the world. So if we can bring in this demographic that's been locked out of the conversation, black, brown and other people of colour, into the conversation, and unlock their power and potential, we could save the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've never experienced us all working toward a common goal like that, and I think now's the time for us to do that, and I want to be a driver in making it happen.
What do you say to just the state of Nigeria, the fact that there is nature there, the fact that people are in touch with nature, but then they do have that still madness? Like, what do you say to that? What do you think that they're not seeing in nature?
Yeah, Nigeria has got a lot of issues, you know, but that colonial mentality is always going to be with us for a long time anyway. So whatever's going on now, I have to have a sense of calm and peace about this is us moving forward for a very corrupt regime instilled in us. So their connection to that capitalist world, you know, he's moving us away from nature, understand nature. But I've got some hope recently speaking to a friend of mine who's building a house in Lagos Island, and she is the house is going to be powered by the plants of the house. That's
okay.
Like, it's going to be so self-sufficient. So I heard
Lagos
that.
Island.
Exactly. So I had a call with her recently, and I was just like so baffed to understand that, okay, Nigeria are ready for this progressive conversation. Is it happening? So that gave me a lot of hope, and I believe, yeah, we'll go through this time of madness in Nigeria, but it's all of this amazing stuff also happening.
Do you think your keenness to nature comes from?
Man, that's a real big question that I've tried to ask myself. It gets asked a lot. And
really?
Yeah, it gets asked a lot, you know, where did it come from? And it's interesting for me because my parents, they threw me into the Cub Scouts in the UK, which was dead, you know, black parents wanting their young black boy to be off the streets. Cub Scouts made sense. So I was used to the outdoors, camping trips and all of this stuff, but I hated it. It was not inclusive, you know, it was very weirdly elitist, you know, like you have to have the equipment, it's not as, and there's so much internal issues with the Cub Scouts as a movement. So that was my first introduction to nature. And then as an older person, again, going back to just the escapism, you know, I do feel this sense of ease. There's a scientific link between green and creativity. So whether I had writer's block at work and I needed to be inspired, I would also turn to just taking these long walks on my own and just like, okay, cool, processing stuff, you know, personal stuff. And then that became, okay, let me just figure out this brief, let me also concept this idea, and then, you know, became an absolute necessity for my process to be out in nature weekly. It's probably it's all linked to mental health, but, you know, we don't really talk about mental health, and that's something we also want to challenge, is mental health within our community. So the birds is a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot.
But why birds? Like, why not any other animal? I don't understand. Like, it's
so, yeah, good point. Why not any animal? I think birds, because they can fly, is firstly one thing that we, as humans, we would just always be fascinated with that. I also think we can learn a lot from birds in regards to how they live. You know, they you know, will only take what they need. Nature provides everything. They migrate, they don't see borders, you know, they go where the sun is. Yeah, it's incredible. There's so many learnings from birds, and I think that's why, and how beautiful. Every bird, every country has this incredible like bird collection that is different to any other place in the world, and these birds will swap places. Do you know what I mean? So in summer I see birds in the sky and where I am, and then winter I see completely different ones. Incredible. So yeah, that's probably why.
You think humans could be more like birds?
Humans definitely could be more like birds, and understanding that we only need to take what we need. That, you know, family, is key. Community, you know, you see these murmurations you see in the sky where it's just absolute flop.
They're so sick.
See what I'm saying? Community,
they don't make any sense.
They move,
like,
they move
one.
in one. See what I'm saying? So this is, with community being the key word. You know, there's lots to learn from.
Would you say you had a good sense of a community when you were growing up here in London?
Yo, good question. Did I have a sense of community when I grew up in London? When I came to London, I came when I was like in the late teens, and.
From Nigeria?
No. From the UK. Are you talking about when I moved to the UK?
Yeah.
Other good question. So no, my sense of community when my parents came from Nigeria in 1982, obviously I saw their struggles for assimilation, and that's normal. But going to white schools, my parents weren't ready for that. I guess you know where they come from. Education is like the thing any African will tell you. So, but in the UK, education isn't set up like that. You know, education is while under-resourced. The curriculum is out of date, so as a young black kid in a predominantly white school, there's hella struggles, and it took me a long time till I was like not too long ago actually to really process what I went through at school and say that didn't feel right, you know. And as a child, I couldn't communicate what I was feeling. I mean, I was always in trouble. That was my outlet because I couldn't connect with school at all. So. Yeah, I've just not answered your question, but community is it's so important. And for me, growing up, my community, I always felt I didn't really fit in. You know, there's community through football, there's community through school, but only when I moved to London did I understand what community meant, to see people who've gone through the same experience as me, and then, you know, became professionals or whatever they're doing. You know, the people I've mixed with across the whole social scene. That for me has been community, and it really changed my idea about it.
That's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Cool.
I'm into that.
Yeah, I'm just gassing. I shouldn't have smoked that, you know.
No, you're doing wonderful.
Okay.
Like everything that you're saying, it makes perfect sense. Like it really sounds like to me like this bird watching has become this like this safe space for you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's so magical. It's literally like a concrete, like a rose growing out of concrete.
Completely.
You know?
And to allow that, share that benefit with other people, nothing brings me more joy, because honestly, it is the ultimate safe space. I don't think any of us have experienced ultimate safe space. You know, your travels from, you know, your crew in New York, you're always going to not feel at ease because you're always going to be those microaggressions. Even in an all-black setting, you're still going to be like, okay, cool. If it's in a bar or it's at a networking event, there's always some level of, I guess, not competition is not the right word, but yeah, I don't think when you take away the element of music or drink, the stuff that we use as a crutch, and then you go into this space where you are asked of nothing of you. You go into nature, nothing. You're not asked for anything. Just come as you are, be. So I think when we talk about safe spaces, this is like the ultimate safe space, and I would love to see that shared across the world, man. Seriously, like that's my dream.
I realize my dream is to make Africa safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally.
This whole idea of safe spaces, whatever we're doing, whatever industry we're in, I think our goal is to create safe space for us and our people. You know, so yeah, it's an interesting one.
What do you think are the requirements for you as a creative in London that would make that requirements to be safe? Okay,
good question. Well, as a creative, the requirements I need and what I want to deliver to create safe space is I need to really challenge the system, use my privilege and position and influence to really challenge the system and allow for easier pathways into it for the next generation that look like me, sound like me, came from where I was from. They shouldn't have to fight the way I had to fight. I shouldn't be fighting the way my parents had to fight, and thankfully I haven't. It's that passing on, you know, that baton I keep talking about. So I just need to really not ever rest on, you know, what I'm given and think I've made it, yes, but really think about how is this check benefiting those guys behind me, you know, how is this check going to allow me to keep that door open?
How have you ensured the next legacy after you?
The legacy, the insurance, how I've ensured the legacy carries on is by devoting myself to that, not only in the work I do, but, you know, in how I communicate that work. I've always spoke out in any press I've ever had since the start of my career, you know, and you know, as much as the legacy isn't just about creating things that people carry on, it's also changing the mindset, you know, and I do believe that I've changed the mindset by breaking into a space that is not for me, not for people who look like me, not for my, you know, complexion. So breaking into that space, just doing that has inspired a lot of people to know that they can also do that, and again, that ripple effect as well, and to hope the next generation just can get inspired. But that's not the last of it. My legacy is the Flock Together group. I really want to see across the world bird watching, black and brown and POC bird watching chapters, where anywhere you go in the world you can go directly to this chapter and have a safe space, you know, borrowing what Alcoholics Anonymous have done in incredible work. Anywhere in the city, anywhere in the world you go, you can get that immediate support, standardized support, open support. That's what I want to do for bird watching and people of colour when they travel.
What is home to you?
Oh, big question. What is home to me? Wow. Home is a really interesting question to me, because moving around, not that much, but moving around and having that connection to Africa, Nigeria, all of these incredible places I visit, you know, and countries I visit in Africa, I always see myself not quite, that's not home. It's a mad question, but I guess wherever my parents, my mom is, feels like home. Wherever it is, you know, me sitting next to her is home. That could be in Africa, that could be in my house, and then that could be where they live. But yeah, I think that will, yeah, I haven't answered that too well, but home is, yeah, home's in the mind maybe. Home is in the mind. Yeah, in the heart. Home is in the heart, you know, and I borrowed that answer, but I'm keeping it. Home is in the heart. So, you know, wherever it's going, back to your homeland, back to your traditions, back to your parents, back to your community, home is in the heart. Yeah.
That's actually the moral of my kids' book story.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a question I didn't prepare for. Home. Where is home? And I'm still computing that myself.
Because it's like, where do we find safe enough to call home, really?
Mm-hmm. It's the safety, isn't it? It's the safety.
Like, yeah. We're literally displaced everywhere.
Displaced everywhere. And I think white people probably look at us and think, you know, great, that identity and all that stuff, but they don't know there's an internal struggle as well, you know, and that's something that's not really spoken about, you know. And even for me, processing, I probably haven't given it enough time to really understand where my relationship to that is. But yeah, it's an interesting year to talk about home, the importance of home, the definition of home.
So my last question is, so you say you're 36 now, mm-hmm. You have accomplished so much, mm-hmm. You are being humble, and mm-hmm. It's beautiful to see my friend, you know, transition to even owning this bird watching thing, and so proudly, mm-hmm. You know, because before, like I said, I have made fun about this too, you know what I mean, and you're like, no, but day, so, and I was like, no, but you're really serious, and I was like, that's crazy, that's dope, you know what I mean, like, I remember, like, you showed me some pictures of some birds, and I was like, no, he's actually dead ass, like, and I was like, that's cool, because, you know, my mom's a horticulturist,
there we go,
my dad's environmental scientist.
Wow.
And, yeah, I grew up literally watching birds, like,
incredible.
Like, I grew up in a garden.
That's
like,
it. And why can't we make those jobs sexy?
Yeah.
And bring us into our creativity to these jobs?
My mom could not get hired for shit because anybody give a fuck.
They need us. The maddest thing is they need us more than we need them. Mm-hmm. Obviously, mm-hmm. the industry is something that needs. No one cares. There's no innovation happening because they're tired. You know, there's an aging workforce as well. They're all going to die soon, and the young kids don't want to work in those industries. So, Flock Together really is about sexying up those roles, because we should be conservationists, we should be environmental scientists, we should be all of these things without thinking twice about it. Mm-hmm. You know. So.
What's your favorite bird?
My favourite bird's the owl, man. I just fucking love that shit, man. I love that shit. And don't get me wrong, now I've got more into birds, I'm around experts and they tell me this is the rarest bird, this is that. I'm just like, but owls though, man, like they fly in silence. They can hear the heartbeat of prey from a kilometre away.
That is a lot.
See what I'm saying? I've watched them, they do not the air. It's incredible, and they only come out at night, so it's like a treat. You know, you're not just going to walk to your local park and get to see an owl. So, you know, everything and the experiences I've had with birds, that's one of the top 3 ones is one with an owl where it spoke to me this year, and it was a moment. It was a real moment. So yeah, owl for me, hands down.
Have you seen the documentary of that dude on Netflix where he like befriends a jellyfish?
Yo, fell in love with a jellyfish.
Like, he fell in love with the jellyfish.
Crazy.
It was fucking nuts.
I watched it and I was just like, wait a minute. Then I came away with it. I didn't have to think. Rah, privilege is cool, man. My man went swimming with a jellyfish that he was in love with for a year, every single day. I was like, wait, what life do you live?
Every year, every day. I said, that's crazy. Like, you have children.
Yeah, exactly. And now his son's gassed because his son's he's passed on the love. So, mad. That relationship to nature. You know what? We talk about that and we laugh about that, and it's on Netflix. But you go to Africa, you go to anywhere in the continent, from the east to the west, to the south, you're going to find incredible stories of people's relationship to nature, to animals.
That's true. I just saw a photo with some little niggas with some crocodiles playing like fun, like pussy, like they were best friends. I was like, what? It was like this village where they were like playing on the backs of crocodiles because like they were spiritual animals.
So we learned so much from these things. Everyone's talking about that Netflix documentary about how we learned so much, how he learned so much about it. Go to anywhere in Africa and watch a farmer tend to sheep or tend to cattle.
Yo, everyone in Africa knows nature more than anybody I've met in my whole life. You understand? Like during COVID, I was like, which one of you actually survive in the West?
Exactly.
Like, do you guys actually know what's poisonous and what's not poisonous?
Exactly.
Do you know how to fetch water? Do you know how to? Do you know how to purify water? Do you know how to?
Do you know when the seasons are coming? Like
exactly.
And seasons. How to adapt? Like these guys, if we can
talking to animals besides a fucking dog.
Man's best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, where? Who?
What was that gonna do for you?
Man's best friend. Anyway,
people know how to tell the weather.
Exactly. Birds, incredibly so. So. Yeah, I'd love to see more of that, but focused on our community.
I have a question though.
Hit me.
So in Benin, right?
Yeah.
I used to do this shit where I used to be like, basically I was putting my head out the window with all these birds, and I was like, oh my god, they're so pretty. Oh my god, those birds. And Bashir was driving, and he was like, those are not birds, those are bats. I literally put the window and I was fucking bats.
Yo.
So every day in this center of the town, bats circle there, and then you go circle next to the Abba's palace. Right, it's the king, wow. And then they go back like 5 miles that way. And every day it's the same thing at the same time. Right. And I was like, why is there bats circling around?
That's crazy.
And they've been doing that since the beginning of time. It's not like there's food there. There's nothing there. They just know to come there every day. It's crazy. And so now we're asking, and they were like, because the Abba is Batman.
Simple, yeah, easy, of course.
Funny shit. It's funny shit.
Bats are mad as well.
A god, that's why.
Bats are mad. Bats are like.
My final question was, as somebody who's literally done like, basically your odds are insane, and also because you're also sane-ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like your head is still in, and like, it's dope that like what I mean is that like you're actually like I'm seeing you like. Now you're becoming tender, like you've done your raw, you've done your I want to push it, like fuck the white man, da 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 da, like you let that drive you. It's mad. But now you're like healing.
It's mad.
You know.
It's so mad.
But I watched you fight healing.
Completely. Like
you were like, nah, I'm. This is me, balls to the wind. Like I'm gonna.
Completely, I was that guy.
Yeah, but then now you're here and you're glowing and it's tight and I want everybody to do that. Like, how did we get here? Like,
you know what? It's crazy. It's a big point as well because you leave school. This is the path you take and. I broke that path like straight away. I didn't do well in school, then just went on my own thing. So this weird level of drive that I have is because of that idea of failure. All the teachers that said you're failing, my parents who lost faith in me, and I had to just stick to my guns. And my whole time I stuck to my guns. Look back, they look like mistakes, but what I learned is taking me on this crazy life journey. And I'm only 36, but I've been fortunate to be in so many spaces, achieved so much in these spaces that we should be locked out of. The odds were stacked against me. So, but yeah, I had to do that with a drive that had an effect on my personality. As you said, you've seen me go from rowdy ass to then calm. And it's because I think trauma had to play a part. And as sad as that is like. Trauma really slaps you out of your thinking, your groove, and I had that trauma in business, being really let down and, thinking everything you worked for was gone. So you process everything your whole life. and how and what you need to do, and through that you learn about yourself, and I think that's where the karmas came from. Don't get me wrong, there is still a fire in me, but I think I hopefully can tame it a lot better.
Yeah. There's this poem. Have you watched Lovecraft?
Oh, I'm only on episode 2.
Oh, okay.
It's meant to be it's game changing, right? Jordan Peele.
It's crazy.
Mad, black sci-fi, yes, here
and
for it.
Watchmen too.
Watchmen, incredible.
You would love Lovecraft.
Okay, I'm getting through it.
There's an episode where there's a poem called Catch the Fire. And that poem changed my life because I realized I wasn't crazy. Like, I realized that
none of us are crazy.
Yeah, like we're actually not, like the anger that you feel, there's actually like there's a dance to it. Like once you can harness it.
You're so right.
Like literally tame the fire.
Yeah, you're so right.
You know, not let it burn you, but like direct it.
And fight it, you know. Because there was times where, take that, the attitude problem that people say you have, or your angry black man problem. It's just like, you internalize all of that.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
And then through I guess life experience, you realize you can ride that wave and understand it, and then channel it in the right ways, man. Like I said, I'm still angry, still really angry, but I focus that anger into my work now, and work that is a benefit to my people. If
you saw Sam struggling, you right now, Sam wanting to do exactly what you wanted to do, what would you tell him?
Sam, my brother, he's very important to me, and he's also been a massive aid in me getting to where I have and do anything I've done, because he's so smart. So Sam's already ahead of me, in regards to this and mentality. Maybe I've helped him as well, but I would tell him to just, stick to your guns, man. Believe in yourself like you always do. Play the game, because and the journey of a career is long, and you're gonna have to play the game. But don't let that game play and affect you, That's it.
What about making a whole new game that you don't have to play a psychological one for?
Yo, is that possible? You know what? In a capitalist white world, I don't think we'll ever be able to not play the game. And when I mean by playing the game, I mean don't let the game play you. It's how it's set up. It means understand the game, and then just don't let it affect you, because it's set out to break you. So there's no new game.
But what do you think about making a game back in Nigeria?
Oh man, that would be, maybe as we're coming out of this whole era of Nigerian rule, a new game is the perfect time to go back to Nigeria with, like, dictate the rules, learn from us from the diaspora. But that would be incredible. Great question.
What do you want your legacy to be?
So my legacy, let me think about this one actually, because this needs to be good. My legacy, your answer was so bang on.
Exactly.
When I heard her ask it, and then I was like, okay, I better prepare that. Okay, do it. And I heard you. I was like, rah! I ain't gonna be able to say that. So I might say the same. Hopefully, in my words. Yeah. So for me, my legacy, and I read this in a quote somewhere, I can't use it word for word, but it was about, I don't feel I'm here to produce pretty things, objects or stuff that can be seen as beautiful. My legacy is about a mind shift, and it's about inspiring others to go do that. I'll create the stage, and then let the others go in there and change the world. That's really my legacy, and that is something I've always known, and had internal battles where I was like, okay, cool, maybe I should be a painter or an artist, or my art is building that stage for people. So that's my legacy.